Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. We're on episode 20 of Attack on Titan. Erwin Smith. Oh, buddy, we're getting an episode titled about one of the characters I'm really hyped about in this show, and that's Erwin. And that's either good or bad. It's either going to be really good, and we're going to showcase Erwin as the captain of the Survey Corps, as a leader, as a main character, or he's going to die. So one of those two things will probably happen. Because we're on episode 20, we only have 5 episodes left after this of season 1, and that sounds like a lot, but a lot can happen in one episode of Attack on Titan alone, much less 5, or 6 if you count this episode too. So I'm really curious, I'm really nervous. Someone pointed out in the comments, they're like, you realize that Erwin Smith was the guy that Eren saw when he was a kid, when he first saw the Survey Corps come through, and it's like, yes, that is that parallel, that coming full circle, all of it. That is not lost on me. And that makes me even more nervous because I really like Erwin's character, mainly because I don't know much about him. There's a mystery to him, but he seems like a leader. He seems like he's a step ahead of the game. He seems like he knows what he's doing. And this last episode proved that he's a step ahead of the game because Levi's job, I don't even know, it doesn't seem like Levi even knew that what was going to happen to the female Titan once she was led to Erwin. Levi just knew, get her there and then stuff will go down. And then it did. And so they've got all these wires and stuff like grapplings into her. I'm like, is she just gonna like break free? What's gonna happen? They're trying to take her alive, but I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna work. I don't think that's gonna work. I don't foresee it going as planned because 1, it's this show, and 2, there's so many unforeseen variables that can happen. Like other Titans could come in and mess up the place. The trees that those grapplings are coming out of could all collapse. There's a lot of factors that could go wrong. So I'm just super excited that we're getting something about Erwin in this episode, and it's the 57th Exterior Scouting Mission Part 4. So I don't know how long this scouting mission is going to take. Tross took forever, so I mean this could take till the end of the season, or they could cut it off and have a couple episodes where things die down. No, I doubt that's going to happen. But in any case, I am super excited, y'all, to see what happens. So let's do this. Let's dive into this series. All right, let's dive into the episode and just rip the Band-Aid off. So let's do this, y'all. We are going to start episode 20 of season 1 of Attack on Titan here in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. It's fine. It's fine, show. Just leave us with that cliffhanger. I didn't even think about that. I was like, well, how is it? I didn't even think about them having the maneuver gear already in place when they were inside the Titan, because we've seen Eren without his jacket on and just, in his garb without the gear. But yeah, if the female Titan has the ability to already alter its body chemistry to harden its skin and has that capability and is that advanced, then yeah, sure, they probably would be able to have the maneuver gear and everything ready. Why not? And here's the thing, it wouldn't be hard to get a Survey Corps robe, like a coat. It wouldn't be hard to get the garments that you'd need to blend in, so that when they said the steam reduced visibility, so she could just pop right out there and go on. So I wonder why he sending Levi to go back up Eren and the others because he thinks that's exactly what's happening. Did he send Eren or Levi to go to Eren's group? I can't believe Gunther's dead. That was like, I'm terrified for Petra and Eld and Oro now because I'm like, she could just haul up and kill them. I don't think she's going to kill Eren, obviously, because Eren's got turned into a Titan. I wonder if in the next episode, Eren's going to be like, screw you, and become a Titan to fight her. Oh, buddy. Holy crap. You know what? This episode, again, was not what I was expecting it to be. I thought we'd get like flashbacks of Erwin's past. I thought we would get, which don't spoil me, we may get into that later on in the show. But I thought one of 2 scenarios was going to happen. Either Erwin was going to die in this episode, and that's why the episode was called Erwin Smith. Or I thought that it was going to be about Erwin fighting the female Titan. And it actually is the latter. It's just not fighting like what we think of. It's more of a battle of wits than it is a battle of brawn in this case. because as soon as we didn't get any sudden backstory, which is good because that means Erwin's not dead yet. Not yet being the opportune word, but oh my god. I like that we have a lot of different dynamic points of view touched on this episode, like looking at Sasha's perspective with Mikasa, looking at Erwin and how the squad views him, including Levi, and viewing Armin and Jean's conversation about the female Titan and about Erwin's decisions. So there's a lot of different things happening in this, but I mean, you've pretty much... This female Titan's incredibly intelligent and knows exactly what they're doing, which means they've been able to become a Titan for quite some time. Because, I mean, how else would you have all of this skill mastered? Because she knew instantly to cover the nape of her neck, even if she was, covered in all these grappling hooks and everything, so that they couldn't get her out of there. And this was the solution. She was like, Levi, you gloated. Levi, you done goofed. You got too cocky and didn't anticipate her calling for help. Help being them cannibalizing her, which is terrifying. So this goes back to the Eren situation back in episode 7, which was 7 and 8, which was Eren was getting cannibalized by those Titans. They were trying to eat him just like they're trying to eat her. So do they realize that there's a human inside the body and they're trying to get to it? That's a very good question. But I like that we establish a lot of things. Armin establishing the type of men that he trusts and that he thinks are good leaders that know what they're doing. And those 3 people being Pixis, being Erwin, and being Ian. Which Ian we know has died because he gave his life to save his troops. And Pixis and Erwin, are still good to go. So this episode was a lot more low-key than I thought it was. And then the last minute it was like, nope, it ain't low-key. We got some problems. Which my other big concern is, okay, if the female Titan, she's like instant... Eren, when he stopped being the Titan... in Titan form, he was exhausted. He was tired out. He was pale. He was clearly, and that's clearly from inexperience. But this female Titan is already zipping through the air like it's no big thing. So that's problematic. If she can do that, then who's to say she can't just, bite herself and turn right back into a Titan again? And then we're back to square one. So that's terrifying. There's a couple of things established with our Survey Corps people being on the outside of the trees just trying to distract the Titans. One, they all don't know where each other are because the girl with freckles was questioning where Krista was, but we saw Krista with this blonde-haired woman from the Survey Corps that we don't know the name of her, that was sitting there trying to reassure her. She looks like Sailor Uranus. But the Titans learning is problematic. Very problematic. Not just the aberrants, but the regular ones, like them figuring out how to climb trees. And that one was like trying to climb through the trees to get to Armin and Jean. Like the fact that they are capable of learning things slowly but surely is a problem. And then Reiner asking, it didn't seem like they brought in cannons, so how'd they get them all in there? We don't know the answer to that question. Mikasa looks totally calm and chill. She's like, it's fine. Everything's great. Like she's like the least stressed out of everybody. And I like that she always seems to be with Sasha in these missions. For some reason, her and Sasha always seem to be paired up together, which is great because their personalities are so different, but they're still pretty reliable characters. And yeah, this Mo Howard looking Titan that's trying to climb through the trees. I love anytime we have Jean and Armin together because they're such a good team. They both bounce ideas back and forth off of each other, but it's never like in a bitter or condescending way. They just bounce ideas off of each other and then they answer those questions to each other, respectfully, which I really like. Like Jean telling him, Jean figures out the plan. He's like, they're luring the female Titan to get the person out of it. Like, you suspected, Armin, that there's a person in it, and we're going to get him out. And that shot of Levi and Erwin's face looking down at the Titan, looking totally menacing, is terrifying. A terrifying expression indeed. But I like that every group is slowly figuring out what the plan has been, like we talked about in the last episode. Like, Eren and the Levi squad is figuring it out. Armin and Jean are figuring it out. And then, of course, Erwin and Levi's group already knows the plan. But I like that Aaron talks about, he's like, well, why didn't you guys know about it? And Petra's like, are you saying he doesn't trust us? And Eld kind of comes over and says, look, no, the thing is, the reason why he didn't tell us is because they think there's somebody on the inside that is infiltrated and is the Titan. So that would make a lot of sense. So that's interesting. If it's not Annie, if it is somebody in the Survey Corps, then that would explain how they could turn into a Titan, like, once they're all in formation. That would, and just kill everybody in the Survey Corps and just go with it. It would make sense if she had been in the Survey Corps and transformed into a Titan and just took out that wing and just went through the right wing as she went that way towards Aaron and them. I guess that would make sense. But on the other hand, I still think it's Annie, and I still think that somebody from outside of the Survey Corps, and she just took the clothes of somebody that died or something and carrying them with her. I think that's the case. But they've narrowed it down. They're like, it has to be somebody that joined after the wall of Shiganshina fell. Has to be somebody from 5 years ago, which would check out with Annie because she joined the Survey Corps, the training group, the 104th Regiment, right after that. So that would all check out. It all makes sense. And Erwin testing all of them, asking them who they think the enemy is. It makes sense now that Erwin was asking every single one of them that to try to see if he could weed out somebody that acted weird about that question. Interesting. I like that Oro. I'm worried that Oro's going to die next episode because he had some moments in this episode where they were making fun of him for imitating Levi and him getting on to Aaron being like, I didn't piss my pants when I was on my first battle and all this stuff. And it was just him and Petra having that back and forth banter. I was like, oh, that's really funny. And at the end of this episode, I'm like, are they going to die? like, of course, that's where my mind goes because I'm trying to brace myself for whatever is going to happen in this series. But Aaron's saying too many people have died regardless. And so I like this contrast of how Aaron's thinking and how Levi and Erwin are thinking, and then how Armin and Jean are thinking. Because Aaron's kind of in the same mindset as Jean in this case. Aaron and Jean are kind of in the same mindset. I'm going to go back and see what Jean says right then and there. Because Aaron's like, yeah, it's cool. I get why Erwin had to do what he had to do, but we lost a lot of people, and that's still a problem. And Jean here is saying, I can't say he was right. He's like, I get why he was keeping it a secret from us and not telling us the plan. He's like, but I can't say he was right. If we'd known there was a Titan informed of our operations, we would have dealt with this in a different way. So I like this notion of Jean and Aaron questioning Erwin and questioning, because it's not a bad thing to question authority. It's not a bad thing to question these people, because Erwin is not the end-all be-all. He's not infallible. He is human. So the fact that Jean and Aaron are questioning what's going on shows that they can bring something to the table. They're not just going to mindlessly follow. They are going to bring something, a different perspective. And he's like, your team squad leader and others would have stayed alive too. Oh, Keith. But then Armin makes a good point as well. He's like, he wasn't wrong. And John's like, what? How many do you think died for no reason? And it's not for no reason, right? And Armin points that out. He's like, it's easy to say we should have done something else. Hindsight's 20/20. It's easy to say, oh, we should have gone back and done this. But in the moment, you don't know what's going to happen. It's like, you can't predict those things. He's like, no one knows how things will turn out. Exactly. And even so, you have to make a choice. You must. Yeah. And the lives of 100 fellow soldiers, or the lives of all humans within the walls. The commander made his choice. Yeah, it's tying all these characters together. He chose to let those 100 die. And then it cuts that back to Eld saying, you don't know it yet, but you soon will. The reason Erwin Smith is entrusted with humanity's hope. Because he can make that decision. Because he has the ability. And Levi trusts him, like, even Levi, if you live that long, yeah, you'll see that. And then I love that. I love the line of Oro's telling Aaron, he's like, well, if you live that long, you'll get to see Erwin's character. And then it cuts to Armin saying, I've not lived that long. So it's the parallel of their experience. Armin and Aaron, both very inexperienced people, surrounded by these groups of experienced Survey Corps members telling them. But I like that Armin says, look, I'm certain of one thing. If there's anyone who can bring change, it will be someone willing to sacrifice what they care for. And the three people he sees are Ian, Pixis, and Erwin. I love this line too. It will be someone who can throw aside their humanity in order to defeat monsters. I love that line. Someone who can throw aside their humanity in order to defeat monsters. Because it's like monsters have to fight monsters. It's the whole thing with Aaron turning into a Titan. Someone who can't sacrifice anything can't ever change anything. That line, oh, it goes back to episode 15 with Levi, because Aaron was like, well, I don't want to turn into a Titan and risk hurting somebody and blah, blah, blah. And Levi's like, so you don't want to risk anything? So you think that nothing's going to happen without sacrifice? Like, Levi's on the same mindset as Erwin. I would lump Levi is in the same mindset as Erwin, Pixis, and Ian, but I don't think he's on that strategic level that we've seen yet. But yeah, Ian, I mean, this goes back to Pixis' whole plan. Pixis knew that it was a sacrifice getting the people to lure the Titans on one side of the wall and having Aaron and a squad go over to move the boulder. He knew the risk. He calculated it. He knew that things could go awry, but he's like, I'll go down in history as a butcher, but also it will be because history's still going, because humanity's still alive. And the same thing with Ian. Ian could have chose, like Rico, to end the mission and save those few people that were on the grounds, but he said, no, we're going to sacrifice a few if necessary to save humanity. And his life ended up getting sacrificed. And then you have Erwin, who is making a choice to sacrifice members of the Survey Corps in the hopes of saving the rest of humanity. So, it's good stuff. But that line, if you're not ready to sacrifice anything, you can't change anything. And that goes back to Jean's decision in episode 16 to even join the Survey Corps. He could have comfortably went to the military police and not have sacrificed anything, but nothing would have changed. The whole idea of these people, the top 10, choosing to go to the military police instead of staying in the Survey Corps that Aaron was complaining about, that's the whole crux of it. He's like, they weren't willing to sacrifice to help save the greater good, so nothing changed. Everything stayed the status quo because people aren't willing to sacrifice things in order to change them. So, I mean, those words, Armin, my dude, just saying what needs to be said. You know? I absolutely love it. Okay, so we have the midway point. I wanted to pull up Crunchyroll and see this. Special target capture weapon. A newly developed weapon the Survey Corps created to capture a specific Titan. So this is all fairly new, and it's like a 7-launcher system. The barrels are loaded with 7 steel tubes, each of which has coiled wires with arrowheads at both ends. Cool. Yeah, and then Erwin making the decision to fire. And I love that Hanji fires the buttons. Like, you can't scratch an itch now. But, they were doing all right. The whole armored skin thing is crazy, though. Because that suggests... That's interesting to me, because that suggests that the armored Titan has the same capability. You can't just cut the nape of the armored Titan, which is terrifying. If we start getting Titans that have armor like this, that's going to be a problem. How are we going to do that? How are you going to cut the people out of the nape of the Titan if it starts having armor? That's not good. So I don't like that. The Colossal Titan, oddly enough, was so huge. Maybe it's because of its size, but it did not try to protect its nape at all. When Aaron slashed at it, it just dissipated. So I'm curious. I'm very curious. I mean, I'm assuming that the female Titan had the ability to do the same thing as the Colossal Titan and just shrink itself down and have the big puff of smoke, because it seems like this female Titan is in very much control of their abilities. But the thing is, if she just shrunk down like the Colossal Titan in that moment, they would have seen her and they would have shot her on sight or captured her. having the other Titans come in is kind of like a smoke screen, kind of like a distraction so that she could sneak out while everybody's focused on killing the Titans. Which still, that takes a lot of skill. So, again, it could be Annie because she's in the top 10, right? Has a skill. Oh, buddy. And then, yeah, I guess it's Mike. Mike, I think that's how you pronounce it. Mike just saying the blades aren't working. And then the armored skin kind of sheds itself. But Mike being able to smell the Titans coming. That's a very cool ability. And you can tell Levi kind of gets pissed off at the female Titan. He's like, just come out already. He's like, I'm just going to hack off your limbs. And I hope they can grow back. And that's what scares the Titan and gets her to like call the reinforcements. Damn. Oh my God. And then Levi figuring out what she did. Oh, that was such a good scene, that animation. And all the Titans leaving to go running after her. Oh. And oh my God, Erwin's face and all this, the face of a man who gave up his humanity to slay monsters, just watching them all. And Erwin's like, damn it, my plan, all of our strategy, everything, like the look on his face is just like, damn it, we had this, we were so close, and it's all over. She got the better of us. She won the battle and got to live to see it. Like just the look on his face and that blood hitting him and then evaporating. And they're just all like eating themselves at this point, and he orders them to retreat. And of course, Levi looks very, very flustered by this. And Erwin saying, return back to base. God. And yeah, you can tell Levi's frustrated because he's like, if we go back empty-handed, that's going to look bad. And they're going to probably reprimand us and Aaron because we didn't do what we set out to do. And Erwin being like, we'll figure that out when we have to. And that look on his face, the look on Erwin's face when he's like, the enemy was willing to sacrifice everything. That's the look of a madman. That's the look of someone that's like, I was willing to sacrifice 100 guys. These were willing to sacrifice everything to get out. Like that's a monster. That there's just no discerning who we're sacrificing. It's just everybody. Oh, God, that face. That face. Nope. That's not a good face. I didn't expect the enemy to destroy itself along with the evidence. Yeah. Ugh. And so I like that he says, there isn't time. Refill your gas and get your blades. And Erwin's like, that's an order. And I'm assuming he's going to tell him what to do after he does it. But yeah, Levi trusts him completely. So yeah, somebody... I'm going to try to see if I can see what all is going on. But they send out this signal. And I like that Erwin has that flashback to the Colossal Titan. He's like, the smoke is a visibility jammer. And it hurts our ability to send out a smoke signal and communicate with others. So you can tell the wheels are turning in Erwin's head. He's thinking about the Colossal Titan and thinking about how all that worked. You can tell he's trying to think ahead of the game. And Aaron's group, they think that they've caught the female Titan, which is just as sad. Ugh. And then Oro, the reason Oro gives me death flags again is because he's posing like Levi there. And I just, Petra and Oro have such death flags next episode. I mean, Gunther's dead. So there's that. Oh, I don't like it. Yeah. And so I wanted to try to see. And then Petra being like, I didn't pee on my first Titan battle. And Aaron's like, did it spray everywhere? And she's like, shut up. It's like, I forget that Aaron's a 15-year-old boy. So of course he'd ask that question and be like, yeah, sure. You think we're on a picnic? We're outside the walls. So I wanted to try to see, yeah, and there's the person, and they had the smoke signal, and they're changing the trajectory of the group. Damn, that's so smart. Oh no, and leading them right towards them. Right towards them. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm going to say it's Annie because they're slender like Levi. Yeah. Yeah, the question is Aaron and them going to find out next episode who it is? That hood is staying on despite gravity. Despite the laws of physics, that hood is staying promptly on their head. Oh my God. Okay, I wanted to go back to this. There's no time to waste. The female Titan was eaten, but did you see the person inside get eaten? And Hanji's like, no, I didn't. And then Erwin says, if your original hypothesis was correct, then they can move to a degree after regaining human form. Yeah. Yeah. And if they've equipped maneuver gear in advance, then yeah, is wearing one of our uniforms right now. And then they see and they think, and it does look like Levi. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Just killed him. Slashed his throat right there and then. Yep, Gunther. And I like that Aaron went like Sasha to go save him and nope. He did. Jeez. And then the enemy's camouflage is one of our men. And you would cut out right before we could see it. But I'm like, it's Annie, isn't it? Isn't it? Damn it. Dang it. Dang it, dang it, dang it. I hate that we have to wait. The waiting's the hardest part. And y'all warned me. Y'all warned me that the cliffhangers in this show would be a nightmare. And they have been. Last week's was fine. This week is, I'm glad I'm not waiting a week, though. It's only going to be a couple days. And then we'll find out. But this episode, and of course, I really liked Ian as a character. But Pixis and Erwin, man. Pixis, Erwin, Armin, and John are maybe in my top 5. By the time we end season 1, I'll probably have a better idea. But I have to say my top 5 right now is probably, in no particular order, my top 5 right now is probably Pixis, Erwin, Jean, Armin, and Levi. They're probably my top 5 characters right now. That may change by the end of season 1. But they're my top 5 right now. Yeah. But man, getting a tiny bit of insight into Erwin. Not a lot, just a little hint. But it was enough. So I'm curious to know your thoughts down below, what y'all thought of this episode. Please don't spoil me. I can't wait to find out, though. Come on, gravity. Come on, laws of physics. Take that hood right off. But in any case, I hope y'all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe. Take care. And I'll be back next time with more Attack on Titan. Bye.